Good night, guys. Welcome to the Real Talk Show. I'm Kyle Joseph. Tonight we have one missing person here with us, and we have actually two. I don't remember that. Yes, two missing people. But we have Mark Net in the house. This is scene, Mark.
Hey, good night, everybody. Hope you're all going great. Good night, Kyle. Yeah, unfortunately, we have two people missing, but we have a special guest tonight as well. I guess he could introduce himself.
Where's he scene, Mr.
Hey,
Chris?
good night, guys. My name is Christian Emil. As I gave my full name, it's really good to be here with you all tonight. It's a great topic, so let's tune in. Let's have some fun tonight with this.
So you guys to share the show, interact, and we're looking for a young lady. I see Eniala or Naomi or Ayana. Want a young lady to come on the stream, right? Because tonight we're missing the two young ladies. So if any lady would like to come on and maybe share their opinion, we would like one of y'all to come on. You don't have to come on for the whole thing, but at least you can come on and share your thoughts. And so let us know. We will send you the link, right? But by the meantime, let's share the stream, interact. You don't even have to put on your camera, but at least you can come on and interact and give some input of what it is you in your eyes you consider cheating, because that for a lot of people apparently that different. For real people apparently online is doing a lot of searching. We actually had a story that we couldn't get to post because it was the lady wasn't dressed 100%, right? So we didn't want to show what it is end up happening, right? But apparently it's a common thing that people do a little flirting game, and one person might consider cheating, one person don't consider cheating, right? So I would like to, as we go on to this show, I would like to hear different people input. But Ava, I think, isn't feeling 100%, Mark. And Onika, today is their daughter's graduation, so they had to go graduation, right? So big up to Chrissy in the house again.
Big up Chrissy.
I actually thought, Chris, when I call you, I was just thinking, I wonder if he going Chrissy grad, boy. I just thinking to myself.
Listen, I wanted to go so bad, boy, Kyle. But apparently, there's only two people to be invited, which is my parents and mommy and daddy, boy. I was going to go that for sure. I wasn't going to miss that. But unfortunately, only two people could go. So I thought it is sometime. What you do, boy?
Oh, okay. Well, guys, share the stream. Is going to be not just entertaining, but interesting show. Because I would like to hear real different people perspective, because this is a serious one we're talking about here. And, even in Christianity, there's weird things while people, coupling up and getting to know each other. And there's a lot of misunderstandings that's happened, Mark. I remember, there's some people we know who was in situationships and certain things happen and, they didn't know, you know what I mean? So, maybe you can just go through online and tell us what's going on here tonight, take a big over a few people,
Yeah. Well, good night, everybody. I don't know, for some reason, I feel like my internet is not as strong as it could be. Yeah. But hopefully you all hearing me. I've seen Ayana Tucson. I want to say good night to you. As always, see Ayana here with us. So it's great to see you here again, Ayana. Hope your weekend is going great. I've seen Eniala Mandela Church. Good night to you and the family. Naomi Spencer, I want to say good night to you as well. Thanks for tuning in. I see Eniala giving her opinion on what cheating is. So I'm just going to read it quick. She's saying cheating to me is anything that you wouldn't do in the presence of your significant other.
Right.
So I think that's a real interesting way to see it.
Mm-hmm. There's somebody put a comment on the group. Maybe you could read it on the post from before. Maybe you could read the comment, Mark, if you could find it. I think you had it up just now, right?
All right, again in here.
Nice.
And so, the person that commented on the post earlier was Minister John Roberts Jacob. And he's saying here, cheating on your husband or wife is anything which occupies most of your time when at home or with them. Be it another person, male or female, your vehicle, your project. If it is that important to you, get your partner involved.
Okay, so he's saying anything that you're doing, I guess, consuming your time, and he considered that cheating. I don't know. As we get along, I guess we could find out what you know what I mean for each and everybody, because some people might have things that's unique to them, you know, that they might other people go see it and they go say like normal, but then some people be like, nah, I good. I don't want that for myself, kind of like, right? So there's there, you know, there are those thin lines, and then there's also, I guess, the things that everybody might accept as nah, that is cheating, right? Like somebody actually, you know, sleeping around with somebody or some kind of thing like that, right? A matter of fact, today in the world, you know, he's watching some other videos before too. People apparently are open relationship and open marriages is a normal thing now in the world, and both parties accepting it. That, you know, we together, we committed, but you know, or they could sleep around with each other, and there's a whole different world, you know, out there now, boy. I know how I make out if I was in the world, Mark. Right now, I don't know, you know. Imagine somebody approach you with something, you're in a relationship, Chris, and they say, well, let me make it open now, way. And well, in a relationship, it's not somebody just, you know, doing shipping this with one in a relationship. You just watch you and say, let me make this an open thing. What you gonna do, boy?
Well, boy, the first thing I look at is myself now. And the reason why I look at myself is how come I didn't see this happening before?
Right.
Why didn't pick up at this? Why didn't I pick up this would have happened now, boy? So I wouldn't necessarily blame, I wouldn't really, how to put it, boy? I wouldn't cast blame on anybody but myself.
Right.
Because
not blame, but how you gonna respond to the situation?
Well, boy, that's a tough one, because I would be like, all right, we had to sit down and have a discussion, but at the end of the discussion, the relationship finished, right? Because if that's how you thinking, that's what in your thought process, right? Mm-hmm. That's not somebody I want to get married to or be in a relationship with. Like, be real, like, guys, nobody wants to. Well, at least I can't even say nobody, because the world is different now. But generally, people don't want to get married to somebody who wants to be in an open relationship, because you know there's no commitment, there's nothing. That's just crazy. It sounds like craziness to me, because that's not how God ordained it either. Right? That's not the ordinance of God. No. So I'm not going down that road. That's just contrary to the word of God and contrary to who He is. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So all right. So let me ask this question before we go in, right? And everybody online, or they could work along with you, right? What would you consider, Mark, as somebody cheating on? Like, if they do this, like something for you personally. Like, you say, if this person do this, I consider they cheating on me, kind of like. Now we know like things like you know like sleeping around, and I'm kind of about what's something that might be unique that you say, watch me, I don't like that, and I can't deal with that, you know.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say being intimate, but for me that's the major thing. But I think somebody could also kind of be unfaithful emotionally, where they actually have feelings, they develop feelings for somebody else by, speaking to them often, investing emotions, time with this person, even, at times going out with them and thing unknown to you, and they in their heart, they actually love this person. They may not have even gone past certain boundaries, but, they actively, how to say, like, interested in somebody else. I could say that could be considered being unfaithful to me, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, what's yourself, Chris?
Yeah, well, I think, being unfaithful basically is you taking yourself, right, and you committing yourself to somebody else. You're with somebody right now. Let's say you're courting the person you're in a marriage, and you actually spending more time with the other person than your girlfriend or your spouse, right? That in itself is a sign of unfaithfulness. Even though you may not be doing anything physically, right? The fact that you're spending so much time with that person, that means you're enjoying the person's company. And then to on the next end of that, to the other person, you don't know how they're thinking. And so it's a lot of things to take in. But being unfaithful is basically your heart. You wouldn't know if you're unfaithful in your heart. You know what I mean? Obviously, like flirting and stuff and these things. And I mean, even flirting, I personally find being flirtatious is a form of unfaithfulness, right?
Yeah.
Because, what's your motive for flirting? Most of the times when you flirt, and I notice this is mostly older men, right? Older men, a lot of the times when they're flirting, is because I want to know they still have it now. Or people want to know I still have a little touch where I could, where I could talk to this girl and I could get through. And it's really a selfish thing, and I mean, and even that in itself is unfaithfulness to me. I personally find it's unfaithfulness, you know.
Right. You know, would you all consider watching porn and different things being unfaithful? Online, or they tell me if it is you find out your spouse watching pornography, would you consider that, you know, the person you're with? I seen Sonny, you know, all I know Sonny ready to talk, right? What you think, Mark? You think that you consider that like somebody cheating on you or something like that, something unfaithful?
I would say it's a form of unfaithfulness. Watching porn
Right.
or like sexual things, and yeah, I would say that's being unfaithful.
I see it have a trend going on all over TikTok. And that is one of the questions, like they ask, like, you know, the thing that they saying is like they're asking a bunch of questions, and one of the questions, and they had to actually say to you personally if you find that is cheating, right? And most people that see the videos, they actually say watching porn is not cheating, and they just say, well, they're like, nah, that is not cheating. That's what most people was answering and saying. It's so engraved in the world system now that people do even consider that as cheating. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, well, that's just a lot of bad things are now in the world, right? Because people watching porn is like watching a normal TV series now. So I'm on my porn and thing, and it's like an ad, like he watching an ad now. And when they reach that, when they know that's the stage we at, you know it's real bad. Because watching porn is definitely being unfaithful. I have no doubt in my mind about that, right? That is unfaithful. Yeah. I have no doubt about it. Because your purpose of watching porn and different things is just, it's just pure evil, you know, and wicked.
Yeah, right. You want to say something, Mark?
I was going to say, like, so what if a man seeing women that are attractive and he's like really look at them, like scope them out, watch their body and thing. He ain't doing anything, but he just looking up. Like, right. What do you think about that? You would say that's like being unfaithful?
Well, to me personally, I would say yes to a degree, because what I mean by that is that, right? The thing about it, the other person might never know nothing about that, right? If you are a man lost and the other party might know, well, that is what's going on. And so in the other, the person who you're with, they might know or think of them kind of things as something. But then to you personally, that is what you're doing. And hence the reason, one of the things, you know, that Jesus say, right? He say, if it is you look at a woman to lust after from your heart, you already commit adultery, right? And what it means, right? You know, I want to, everybody listening online, right? Just to gather a little bit when it comes to like that natural thing, when it comes to lust, and what Jesus meant that when he said, if a man looked at a woman to lust after her from his heart, he already committed adultery. Do you know, if it was given the correct circumstances, what Jesus is saying, that most likely you would cheat on a person? That if the circumstances was correct, like say you're alone with the person somewhere, and you know, like you don't have this guilt, like, or you fall out, like you and your wife fall out or something, and somehow you would go in your heart to that person, and in the same way, Jesus did the same thing with murder. He said, if it is you look at and you call your brother a fool, like from your heart, you mean you commit murder. And what you meaning is, if given the right circumstances, you would do it. How you could see that is actually the first actual crime, that actually law that was broken outside of the Adam and Eve, right? We know was Abel and Cain, right? When they kill him. Remember back then, imagine two brothers loving, growing up with each other, and something so simple, Mark and Chris, could make somebody do something like that. Murder. You can make your brother murder your breads. It get into the evil, it get into his heart. And what he did is, in his heart, he said, but you're fool, you know, that kind of way. And it almost like, and the circumstances were set correctly, and he killed his brother. You catch where I'm coming from, right? Most people might do that. Like, if it is right, do you know sometimes you get some the wrong people, like a weapon or a gun, and the situation happen, they shoot you. You know, they just get hot. They somebody deal with the anger, and where it is deep in their heart, they deal with issues. And even so, I would encourage anybody who in a relationship or in a marriage or any kind to really always seek to really expose that. Like fornication, with pornography and different thing. Really go to the person you're with and talk to them and let them know the situation, and because it would lead down a worse part in your life. It don't stop there. It's something you're craving deep inside that doesn't exist within somebody, and it actually would start to go down a certain road where you look for those things, and it would destroy your relationship. So, you know, put a prevention on that from before right now, because do you know, Chris, you can really love somebody and that can end up happening. It's not that
Of
you didn't
course,
love them.
yeah.
They catch where I'm coming
Yeah,
from, right?
of course,
They didn't
of
love
course.
the person, but you know, that's what. So that maybe that's a question I could ask, right? Do you all think every time somebody cheat online all the time, right? People, I want to hear this answer seriously, right? There's a question I had, right? Do you think every time somebody cheats on somebody is always because of they didn't love them or they didn't care about them? What do you all think? Anybody can answer first, eh? Or they show their thoughts, what they think.
Oh, I mean, that's true. All right. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
well, obviously, you know what I mean? Obviously, that is wrong, and that is craziness, right? Because how I look at it is like this, right? Most of the times, people who don't, unfortunately, most people who don't get involved and don't actually go and commit fornication or adultery or cheat on somebody, right? It's because of fear one, they will get catch. They might think, but if I get catch, it will be a real scene, but I could destroy my marriage, right? Because people, most of the time when they do that, because they want a marriage, you know. It's not men don't love their wife. It's just that the lust so strong in you that you can't help yourself. And you go after a woman and think naturally because they feel, well, boy, this is how I was born. I born this way. And it's a real deception. I born this way like a woman, so I going after a woman. But that doesn't mean in no way that man don't love your wife. You know? It's just that you overtaken her. You overtaken with urges, you overtaken with this thing, and you feel it's natural. Because most of the time, sometimes it'll be hand down too, like from your father, your grandfather. Like your father used to run down woman and your grandfather used to run down woman, right? You find that could try to trickle in your life now. So that's something that you had to actually deal with real early o'clock because you get carried on a road. You know what I mean? Because when they watch your father doing the same thing, say, well, this is how life's supposed to be, and you feel it's the norm now. And it's not the norm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, a lot of people is actually make them statements too, right? Like, I know a young man, his father tell him clearly that don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, don't do it in your life. And he talking about in your life, eh? He doesn't even talk more like marriage and thing. He just meaning don't put all your eggs in one basket. What I basically mean is you can't get all in a relationship. You have to be, you got to say, play the field a little bit. You have to do certain things. And people could have that belief. It's not in their heart they want to do evil, you know. But do you know sometimes people could also have protection in their heart where it is they don't want to get hurt and is actually like they sabotage the relationship. They actually go out and end up being with somebody, and it's not that they actually want to do that, but they end up in a pathway in life where they end up cheating on somebody. But is that, you know, it's not necessarily it started from a place of evil. And that's the reason why these things are important to understand, guys, is when you get into a relationship or a marriage, to say, right? Most people, they're marrying because they love each other, right? Mark, you marry your wife because one of the things is you love her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting a little feedback. I can have funny noise in the background. I don't know if it's Mark or I think it's probably Mark.
Yeah, so I guess maybe it may be from your laptop or something, Mark. We had to check and see. We just getting a double.
Somehow?
Yeah, it seemed like it's stuck.
And I hear it, yeah, no more.
And I hear it either.
I like how Naomi, maybe today's show we could flow it a little bit, guys, you know, and we could just drop in the giveaway because it's just, you know, it's a flow we going with. We'd rather go like you understand, Mark? We might go to segments that kind of way. So we go read through people's comments as the show going along, right? You know, I see Naomi ask a question, right? But before we Naomi, we answer your question. What do you think, Mark? Is it every time somebody cheats is because I know Chris answered, but it's asking you personally your opinion. That if it is sometimes somebody cheats, you think all the time it's because they don't love somebody or something?
I think sometimes it's not that they don't love the person, but it's just that you're so much in bondage that you want to love, but because you have an area in your life where the enemy really have a grip on you, or you actually have not repented of a particular sin that actually have demons driving you. I mean, you desire it, and also demons, or you know, spiritually, have things real pushing your buttons, influencing you to go towards a particular sin, and you don't have the freedom of Christ. So because of that, you're weak and you fall in that area. You don't really want to, but you never allow God to give you the strength to overcome or to deal with that temptation. Because sometimes there are certain temptations, we all have our weaknesses, you know, and really you need God. We really need God to repent and to overcome. And you may have an area in your life that you didn't surrender to God, but you haven't repented and allow God to really change that area in your life, and because of that, you would have fallen. And you don't really want, but yeah.
I just want to big up Cindy Emile tonight. I see she real in around Chris right now, so I just want to big up Cindy Emile in the house. Yeah. Anyhow, it's really interesting some of the things that happen because a lot of people don't realize yet Jesus was right. He say those who actually commit sin is a slave to sin. So if it is you're a slave to something, sometimes it'll always be that you're actually, you need help. That person actually need deliverance. They need help.
Yeah.
And if it is they do have somebody, that is the part where that is to show you it's not necessarily all the time just not to do something, but also to seek help. You catch where I'm coming from, right? That if it is you're in a relationship and you're realizing, whoa, this is our problem, I really need to go and get help. So I wouldn't I wouldn't break this person's heart like that because I do love them. So it's important to know that, right, guys and girls who are listening right now, that if it is you are dealing with a situation, like deep in your heart, you struggle with these things, it's important to maybe talk to the Lord and get help with him because it would affect the people you love the most, especially your wife and also your children. It's a sad thing to see when a family get break up, and really and truly, it's not many times it's not that the father didn't love the children or the wife. It's just situations, circumstances, all kind of thing happen in life, right? So we want to encourage you guys to share the stream and interact with it. So I want to ask you guys, please share the stream, and everybody's saying share the stream, guys. So I want to Naomi had a question, right? Let me put it up on the screen, right? She said this question. So as Christians, can we date more than one person? That's an interesting question. I was actually going to ask that earlier on, like like with dating, like because really and truly that is where this cheating thing that we have our thin line, right? So I want to ask you guys a question. And everybody online, you all can give your input to this question too, right? Naomi question, is it, as a Christian, can we date more than one person? What do you think?
Well, I think for one, I don't agree with that. Because if you're dating somebody and you want to date the next person, that's a real disrespect to the other person now.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to receive an NR, right, guys, the rest simple to look at it. If you is the one, right, on the receiving end of that, and your boyfriend dating another person, or girlfriend dating another person, how you would feel about it? You would be okay with that? And I mean, that can never feel right because you think that you want to believe that this person have your attention now, because you're looking to get married, and the purpose of dating is to get married eventually. If somebody's dating you and they have no plans to get married to you, then that's somebody to run from that way. You know what I mean? So, I would say that's kind of crazy to date two people. But so I know there's an argument. I know they could have an argument for saying. I know there's an argument they could have for saying that, okay, if I just going out with two different people and be talking and stuff, people might say nothing is wrong with that. But understand something. You have to think about the other person's feelings. And you have to also think about what is your reasons for what you're doing too as well. You know what I mean? Why you want to date two people? You're confused? You know what I mean? What was that? That's what I think. Yeah.
All right. So what do you think, Mark? Dating more than one. You have more than one person in the pool.
Honestly, I don't think anything wrong with having friends, people who you might know more than one girl.
but you ain't dating them though. You dating them, that's the difference.
well, I guess the dating. I don't know if I would do that, but.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
but you can have a debate in it. There's a debate in it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the dating is a next level. But if you have friends, you might see them or you might happen to do something with them, which I don't think. I think it depends on how deep the relationship is. I think dating could be a little awkward and probably crossing the line a bit. But I personally think if you have friends, like you could have more than one person that you're seeing qualities of a good wife.
I understand what you're saying. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. But think about the situation, right? You're dating somebody, but you have a friend who's another female, and the person, and you know the person since you're small or whatever it is, all they grew up together. And you just went out for dinner with the person. They said, we're just going to eat something, and I want to talk with you, and then you just talk. It have no feelings involved there. You're just out for dinner with the person. Now, going to dinner with a female could be considered a date, right? But in reality, if you're going with a friend, nothing is really wrong with that. If it's a female friend, I think really personally wrong with that. if the person is a friend for a long time, and also the person is also friends with the girlfriend or your wife or your girlfriend, I should say. You know you're married, you know your girlfriend. I don't see it being a problem, but at the same time, it could create problems too now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so maybe I see Nikki Chapman say that nothing wrong with dating more than one person, and I think another person said it, yes, that once you're open about it, that's what dating is for. So I want to ask maybe everybody online, right? We having a good back and forth here, right? So I want to ask you guys this question, right? To you personally, what would you consider be dating then? Because I would think
that's the next question, correct?
So maybe I'll say we could answer what to you would be considered dating, and then online I want to hear everybody consider dating, because I think dating have some form of commitment in it, right? Is at least for me, right? That's for me. For me, dating for me personally have some form of kind of commitment to it. I personally cannot all right. Where the line is drawn, boy. So let's see. All of us here, we start off in a relationship, right? It's obviously you're gonna meet one girl somewhere, you might meet somebody else, and in order for you to get to know them to some degree, you might have to go out sometime and say you might go cinema with one person, you might go on a movie with somebody else, and you're getting to know each other, right? So my question is this: where does actually dating start for you all? When it is you say, all right, I'm dating this person. When does that start? So I'm not talking about like getting to know multiple people, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't think anybody have that expectation of each other. As a matter of fact, that'll be a question is normally asked in the beginning, right, Chris or Mark?
Yeah.
If you meet somebody and talk, one of the first things is normally asked if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Like one of the things I would naturally ask, right? I always come out and say, you have a, yeah. So let me hear. We all think. So when you all think dating point to start, yeah.
I think the establishment in dating is when the two people talking and they say, listen, I have feelings towards you and you have feelings towards me. And we have that thing where I like you, you like me, and we actually pursuing, we actually want to, someday we want to get married, right? Someday I want to get married. And you look like a person that could be a candidate for that now. And I'm really interested in you. And we establish, you like me, I like you. And we're going out on this is a date where we go out, we're going on a date, we're going to sit down and talk, we're going to have a little fun, we're going to eat, we might go somewhere after, whatever. You know what I mean? And I say establish a date there because you two people like each other. You gotta make sure there's a likeness to each other one, and you feel, well, this is a young lady that I could actually spend my life with now. She seemed like a nice person, and vice versa. I think that's when you establish it, on the basis.
Because here's his statement, right? Naturally, right, Chris? Like, forget you, right? Somebody, a young person from Champion or online come, right? A younger person, and they say, I meet this girl, boy. And you're going out with the person, right? One of the first things they might tell the person, maybe not you, but somebody, will say, oh, so you're going out on a date. It would seem like, it would seem like you're telling the person you're dating this person technically, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that then? Seeing that most of the times that is considered a date or they're going out. Because everybody here know, let's be honest here, right? Everybody to some degree understand. Maybe you could be lost as a woman. Maybe women could feel a little lost, right? And maybe there's a few men who might feel a little lost, right? But generally when two people meet each other and they're going out, most of the time it's because both each other maybe physically attracted to each other in some degree, or they have some kind of liking insight. It's something about the person you like, because you're going out to eat and line with the person, and it's not like a friend. You catch what I'm from. Most of the time, I talk about natural scenarios, right? That you meet people and you talk to them. And I talk more like if you know somebody in us, like you say you're working with the person and both all go out for work and eating, and because that might seem like a little normal, like all on friendship vibes, right? But I talk more like you really meet somebody and you want to go out with the person, right? And you say you carry them out somewhere to eat or something, right? I think most of the time people just know that they like each other to some degree and some level, that they have some, not many like, but some kind of attraction. I think everybody can agree to that online, right? Some part of it, there's some kind of attraction along the line where you say, right, I have interested in something. What is that you're interested in, guys, when you meet them? Let me go through these people. What are you interested in when you meet them? So I'm not believers here, Christians. Where is he interested? I'm not talking about unbelievers, obviously. I might be just, as a man, it does maybe interested. Just to sleep with the girl or something like that, right? Yeah, but there are some sick Christians out there like that too, right? But let me hear you.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mark?
I think
Because you was a guy, you say you had a lot of friends. That's what you normally used to say. I had a lot of friends.
Well, I met people along the way in the Lord,
Right.
and it had many people that over the years and things I would have met and could see them being a great wife. You know, I never went out on no date and anything like that, but I would just probably be like, if I know somebody going to a particular church, I might go to church service and just see what they do in the service and thing, and leave or whatever. But
that was your former date.
You
used to go to church.
No, that was no date. I
you know you can date somebody. I go to church. You can never church service somewhere.
That's all I can talk in the person my back way. I just joking.
When you talk, you would talk and things. That's normal. But you see, it depends on what the conversation is like, because you can talk to somebody as just a friend, nobody saying I'm interested in you or anything like that. You're just talking in general. I think when you do go on a date though, that is when your interest is more than just a friend. And I think that is when both people know, okay, well,
I personally agree with you say there. That your interest is more than friends when you go on a date with a person.
Serious?
I think you could go with more than one person.
Who do that?
You could. I if it is you single, right? And you don't know people, right, Mark? Let's say you, I'll give an example, right, Mark? When you're single, right, you come and you go, let's say you go with somebody in Champion, but you meet somebody, and let's say it's one day, you went out with somebody, and let's say now, you meet somebody else in a different church and they ask you to go out somewhere. You ain't gonna go, you go feel committed to the other person?
Well, okay, I could understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but when it is a single, you're getting to know people and different things, so it's obviously at some degree, each other, you're getting to know people, and sometimes the other party might like it, but at the same time, you might be at some degree. I don't think it have a commitment in the beginning stage. Nobody had that kind of conversation.
All right, I know what I said. Once you establish a commitment, then yeah, sure, I know problem.
Yeah. Well, I was now going and say, it's true if I don't have no commitment, fine. But if I know a girl I'm interested in dating people, I ain't getting involved in that. I letting her go ahead and date and thing now. But I don't think
I just like that too. That's me too, brother. I do the same thing.
Yeah. I don't think anybody. Well, some people may not feel comfortable going on a date and thing because you might feel like your feelings being invested and you're getting attached to the person, and then there's this risk that they're on a date with and they could fall in love or be interested in somebody else. So you might want a little bit of exclusivity or something like that. But I could understand what you're saying, that a date could just be normal. You just a normal thing where you're just getting to know each other.
Because I'll give an example. For me, especially as a believer, maybe in the world you're a little sick in your head, right? Because the end result, maybe you're looking for something a little more physical and touchy, and because that's what we're doing. But in Christ, I'll be honest with you, all right? If I go out with somebody, I'm not thinking about them thing. You catch where I'm coming from? I'm not thinking about sleeping around and want to kiss you and hug you up. And I sincerely going out somewhere and I sit down and talking to you and we linemen and we get to know each. Obviously, it has some kind of attraction for me to see it that kind of way, to go out with you in that kind of way, right? But for me to say, well, you now start off in that point, and then if next week the person see me with somebody else, I never make no commitment to you in that kind of way. You catch where I'm coming from, right? No, for me personally, to make that step to go out with somebody, me personally, that's just me, right? I was never like that. I already make steps in my heart to show a little more interest. It means then I would call the person the next day. I would start to talk to the person a little more. I would treat that as somebody I'm interested in that kind of way. That's just personally me, but I could understand that. And that was my situation, basically. It's not like I was out there going to this church meeting somebody else, but that could be somebody's situation, Mark and Chris. What do you think? Somebody wrong for doing that? You're asking?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say they're wrong. And the reason why I wouldn't say they're wrong is because at the end of the day, right, like we talked about earlier, if no commitment is established, in other words, I'm not saying, listen, I want to be in a relationship with you. Once that's not established, I don't see it being an issue. You know what I mean? But because you went out on our dates, especially if it's the first time you went to the person, like our first date. You know what I mean? I there's no real commitment there yet, at least to me. But the fact that you did go to the person is because there's a liking somewhere. Obviously, there's an attraction.
Also, a lot of Christians think that there's go blind dates too. people is just set up people and thing and they go out with somebody.
But if you're going on a date and you just went on a date with somebody, it means somewhere along the line that person you went on the date with, you ain't too sure. And that's what if I was a person in that situation and you went on a date with me and you're dating somebody else, you ain't too sure about me.
No, you're going out, we're not dating the person. I think that's the line we're trying to figure out here, right? All right, Mark, you go to, because you said, I guess it's not in you to maybe do that, right? But I'll give you an example, right? You go, all right, forget going out then. Here, what you do this, right? Like, forget this, right? Forget going out. You go down south, Mark, right? When you're single, right? And you meet somebody and you get a person number, you see them, or you talk to them on Facebook. Is it okay for you to talk to 3 other girls at the same time? You're just talking. You see your friends. Go ahead. Is it okay to talk to 3 people at the same time?
Well, yeah. If you have friends and things, that's not my issue.
But that girl is not your friend, though. Let me be honest. The reason why you're talking to her and you're communicating is not friendship. You catch where I'm coming from. It's because you like that to some degree. And it's not like you're like when the person right through and all his friends and all that having a banter back and forth, right? When you message, you say, how you going and how is it in work? And you're not interested in no friendship in that kind of way, right? Is you like the person, so you're weighing your options, as some people might say, right? I see Niala say you're weighing your options, so I'm asking you, what do you think? That you don't consider that dating, cheating, or that's something bad if you're talking to 3 people at the same time?
I would say no, because it depends on the conversations you're having. So, like, if you're not telling somebody, hey, I like you and I'm missing you, it's just normal conversations you're having with everybody, then I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay. Because we know somebody, right, personally, right? So, let's put this in another perspective, right? We know somebody personally, without calling names, right? We know somebody personally went on a blind date, right, Chris? And Mark?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And let's say the next week they went out with somebody else. Or they would have find out something wrong with her?
No. You remember going on a date, right? Remember the purpose it could be going on a date to see is if, okay, yes, I like this person physically, yes, I like certain things. But in talking, on a date, remember, things could come up and you realize, well, all right, I hear you, and you could feel a little uneasy about certain things. I ain't too sure about this person again because they say something or they do something that kind of throw more off now. Right? Yeah. It don't mean that you lock off a person and you're done, no. It don't mean that. It just mean that probably I still have let me jump to this. Let me just look at other options. Let me see what other options that I have available. However, you know what I mean? Now I'm talking from a perspective of just not in the spirit, right? I just mean in a natural perspective. You're looking at the other options. Because you ain't committed to the person yet because you didn't like certain things that happen during the course of the date. If you go on our next date, I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Wow.
I personally don't see nothing wrong with that.
Mark, you want to read one or two of the comments before we continue this? Because a lot of people commenting with it now. So let me just get some of their feedback and let me hear what is going on. You could say you don't want to go straight up, but you could start like maybe, like where after any other, say according to Wikipedia, you can maybe start from there. If you can see it. Or maybe a little higher. So because Sonny say, so what? Dating is like car shopping, you going out in different room, test driving. Sadly,
Yeah. So for me, right, if I just as an example, right, if I was to go out on a date, if I was married and I go out on a date, right, on a date now, I'll be talking and stuff, I'm eating and thing, the person digging their nose and thing, and do them kind of thing, and I'll be like, you're serious, but if you could do that in front of me and you don't know me that well, I got a real questions in my mind, but my mind will go crazy. I could be like, this person digging nose in front of me, but what I mean, but that would be real. You won't believe how that would throw me off.
Example for that, Chris. Example for that, Chris. Right? I went out. That's when I now get saved. Right? It was a girl I went out once with. Right?
Right.
We was talking before, and I went out. We went out once, and we went Shanghai. If anybody knows Shanghai, the name of the restaurant, right? The movie down. And I remember we sitting down eating. Right? Now, I been honest with you, I could have go out with somebody else next week after, right? Because it's not that kind of relationship, right?
Right.
But we sit down eating, right? Be again to you go on the line with the person again to know them, right? And we sitting down, and I remember I had my hands on the table. The person watched me and said, "Nah, yeah, remove your hands," kind of like that's like trying to proper now, because that's how it is operate, and that's how. And I realized the person is a a little more high class person in other words like that, right? Like one of the things they do, how they eat in the cutlery, they're doing certain things. I from the ghetto, so I just sit down by the table all here. And I have my hand on the table here, so as you see. And I talking. But my point is, but my point is, on both parties though, we knew this was the last time we going out on a date.
Yeah.
No way. And I said, you come in my hand on my table. And she didn't maybe like me in that kind of way, right? Maybe because in the context of she, you know, she know what this type of fella kind of like, right? So my point is this, right? For me personally, I had no problem going on with somebody, you know, that in that kind of way, right? That, you know, somebody else. But you go ahead, Chris. Sorry, man. Everybody comments here, and then we'll come back here.
Well, I just think each man was saying nothing wrong with dating more than one person. Once you open about it, and she's saying that what dating is for. I see you probably come on with Sonny Tony says, so what dating is like car shopping.
Yeah, that's a
showroom, they're test driving. I see Naomi Spencer saying, see how unfair, but if a man does it, it's okay. I'm not sure what she was talking
about. We're not condoning each other.
No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that.
Yeah, both I remember I asked any just to stop, right? I asked any woman who willing to come on and share their opinion, come on the stream and share with their thoughts, right? We missing the ladies tonight, right? We will send you the link and just tell us in the comment if you want to come on. You can leave off your camera if you want, right? But you can at least come and tell us what in your opinion about these things, right? But you go ahead, man.
I see Enyala search for the Wikipedia definition, which is dating is a stage of romantic relationships in which two individuals engage in activity together, most often with the intention of evaluating each other's suitability as a partner in a future intimate relationship. So hopefully the activities they do together is things that you won't do in marriage, where you keep it to a certain boundary and things. I just my thing in that, but I know, you know, there's people in the world that they're not really no boundaries where they would go dating and stuff like that, which could be destructive. But that's our next show, I guess.
All right.
I see Anyala saying she think you date before feelings start. I know what y'all think. To me, I just feel like if when you're dating, that is when you stand to get feelings. But
no, but yo, I think you see that the thing we missing that what if you go with the definition of Wikipedia where they say dating, feelings there, but if it is you just really going out with somebody, you have no feelings for them.
But you're right at that point though. If you to date somebody and go out on a date with that person on a one-on-one, it's because there's feelings, there's something there. That's drawing you to the person. I was saying something drawing you to the person, obviously. Yeah. Right? That don't mean that attraction. You know?
I think when they mean feelings, I think they mean like more like, you know, you like the person and you miss them and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think when you're now going out with somebody, that's how you just feel. You cool.
Anyhow, no, you're right, you know, because I remember in the past when I went on a couple dates and thing, and I honestly I was not sure about the person, but I just went to see what it was like and thing now. But it didn't always end good. I think
with somebody nice.
Sorry?
We got if I need to play back this, right? Ready? Go ahead. Because he's always saying, Chris, I just had friends.
Yeah,
go ahead.
That was before I was like, I think that was before I was a believer.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And yeah, let's say in here, I went on dates in the past knowing I don't like the person. So
I can remember he's asking them I have some kind of like, and yeah, you can maybe as a woman. Men, that's a rare thing for men. Men ain't gonna do that. As a woman, she might really want to get to know him, you know, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, we have a little other things going for him. Maybe a little gualas, I want to be a little interested to get to at least see if it go work, right? Men, if it is he and find it attractive from get-go, you say, nah, brother, I good.
Yeah, you ain't doing that.
I remember once, Mark, I was talking to a girl I met on ICQ. That's when I wasn't safe then, right, guys? And I remember I was talking to the person, but, you know, and I never saw the person before because back then it had no Facebook and thing, you post no profile and thing, right? Just like chat. And me and my partner he came down from our way, right? So I say, Breads, we go down south and meet this girl, right? I never see her before. Let me go and meet her and see her, right? So we went out, Gulf City. I want to meet somewhere open and public. The next thing is a man I talking to all this time, right?
Yeah.
So we got down south, and the person sitting on the chairs and thing there, and I say, breads, all you forgive me, I was not a believer, right? I say, whichever one is the nice one, I talking to that one, right? Because he had no affiliation here, right? Because she came with her friend. So I say, whichever one is the nice one, I go and talk to that one regardless of who, right? And you had to front yourself as me. So we went and sit down, and so said, so done. It maybe wasn't the more attractive one for me personally. They're just for me personally. I don't want to offend anybody. So the girl see it again and hurt her because it did hurt her eventually. But so I just say, Brett, pretend as me, and he did it. He sit down for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, acting as me and answering questions, and I did talking to the friend, talking, and then eventually I had to come out and say, girl, we was just playing, boy, and we laugh it off and whatever. But I was serious, and I never talked to the girl again after that. I basically never, because so for men, most of the times, I think most men would not go out, with somebody if they're not physically attractive to some degree. I think men are a little shallow in that area. But yeah.
Okay, well,
you agree to that, man?
Sorry?
You agree to that? You would go out with somebody you're not physically attractive with?
Yeah, if you're just, you're not showing up. Because like it had somebody I went out with, I wasn't like real interested, but I just, kind of seeing, and we went in this, like the photo booth where you take the 4 pictures.
Yeah.
And, you're making funny face, and for the last one, she tried to kiss me and I pull away and the picture snapped. So it was like that moment, just snapping the picture was a little awkward. But I wasn't on that vibe, man.
Yeah.
You have that picture still by man way or no? It's right away, right?
I get rid of it.
Now you have to go study, man.
I like to see that picture way.
If I watch it, maybe I want to know what one day, yes? That was
sorry, boy. Sorry. That is before you was married.
Yeah, that was before I was married.
And you're going to read the comments, Mark.
Yeah, being questioned all then.
The police.
Yeah, but I didn't do anything.
Go and fix your face, Evan. Come on the stream for me, please. Go ahead. Anyhow, go ahead.
All right, so I'm Tony here. I'm not going out with more than one person. How I could go in the cinema, have dinner, and the next weekend they see me out with someone else. How it go look? So to avoid that, one at a time for me, yes. And with them and that, Sonny, I seen Tony here again. Go out with them and get introduced to their friends. Next week, their friend see me hugging up our next woman in a dance. So what I would say, we just dating.
We see hugging up all of them kind of thing. I we didn't even talk about that.
Now,
we
going down that direction.
And you get to talk to somebody. And,
That's the direction we're going down now.
Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I seen and y'all saying they're not wrong. They should just be declared. So I guess if you're really dating, you be open and tell everybody that involved.
Okay. I really want to. I wish a woman was here to tell me that, but because for men is normally do the asking out now, Chris.
Yeah.
They could answer, or if I could answer. If it is you really meet somebody and you ask them to go out somewhere, you might most of the time. I mean, somebody had to say yes, right? But
I think sometimes when women, let me tell you what's happening, and women different from men in that area. Women tend to feel a little. Women will try to get a chance. They will say, okay, I don't like this. I don't attracted to this person anyway, but let me give my chance. Women do that. They will do that. They might feel a little. I don't want to use the word pity, but I mean that's something a little bad, but. Might feel a little sorry for the person. I'll give them a little chance and see how things go. And when they go here, like, oh, there's a mistake I make here, but it really would work. And that's the end of that now. Men wouldn't really do that. Like I say, they ain't gonna get a chance.
I'm gonna ask this: would the woman feel like if she went out like that, right? They say she give the person a chance, right? And then in the next 2 weeks they go out with somebody else, like somebody else ask them, right? And they give the next person a chance. I don't think the woman would feel like she playing the field and all them kind of shipping. It's like that.
Nah,
you see, here's the problem I think we all have in here right now, right? It's the circle and our age group. So if you realize, most mature people online would say they cannot do that.
Yeah.
But see, when you're 17 and you're young and you're in school, like in high school, like say in UE and them kind of thing, you might go out with more than one person.
Mm-hmm.
Because your pool and your circle, your alignment, a set of people, you're meeting a set of girls all the time. And imagine you in UE right now, Mark, is 20, 22, right? and you go and you go down to lunch and meet one girl for cafeteria and you sit down and they talk to them and whatever the case may be. And then after school you go somewhere and you walk up the hill and talking to one next girl. You wouldn't necessarily feel like you're dropping the person for a maxi or something, right? You're going, you wouldn't necessarily feel like, because, but in the same scenario, the girl you was talking to in the school and seeing how dropping her next girl for a maxi, she go say he's a player.
Yeah.
Not so. We all know it. We all been there. We see these circles where this man and the opposite to Mark, because there's a line and we're trying to figure it out a little bit, right? If it is in champion right now, right? Who's single? Tevin, like, well, he's not really single, but let's use Tevin, right?
Man, single like you.
Let me use Tevin. Let me use Philip.
Okay. Philip,
right? If every 3 weeks or let's see Philip or Jared bring a different girl to church, what you gonna ask him a question?
I'll just say dating.
Honestly, if every
say every 2 weeks, sir.
Yeah, like every 3 weeks he goes somewhere and he meets somebody different. You they got harassed, I
wouldn't dig harassed. I would just be concerned about him.
Right?
I would just hope you know what you're doing. I would not, you know what I mean? I'm not saying a man could do that, But you crash your person's heart, so you don't know what's the person's motive, but you'll just hope and say, bro, you know what I mean? Nothing wrong with doing, but just hope your intentions are pure. And I hope that you just, you're in a place where you're looking for someone. You're just getting to know people. You get to know girls. Nothing wrong with that. And that I don't see anything wrong with that. You know what I mean? It all depends on your motive, boy. That's the main motive,
But then
will it look weird though?
It will look weird. It will look weird.
Because I try to think we know a young man. He is now he's now getting saved and thing, but he was a sweet boy. He used to come champion, and like every maybe month, like it used to be a Tuesday service then, right? But like say every month, or it's really and truly nearly every other service, right? He used to come with our next pretty girl. And the man is a sweet boy and thing, and he every other week he come with our next maybe nice girl or whatever the case may be, and nobody on here, but you should just watch him and say, it's star man. We just know he's a star man. You can't I can't think so deep and think, well, he's a player, and I'm kind of, I don't know, but I just know he played in the field a little bit, I don't know. So my point is this, right? I think a lot of people, I think when it comes to dating, when it comes to Christians, we have a view that understand why sometimes people are afraid to approach people. They're afraid to think, well, because if I talk to this person, it had to be this serious thing for marriage. You catch where I'm coming from now. It's not just you want to get to know somebody and go, but in the world, you would do it normally. In the world, you would actually just go out on a date with somebody and it wouldn't be a bad thing. You catch where I'm coming from. You just go out with the person and you want to get to know the person.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is put too much emphasis on it now.
Yeah,
there's too much emphasis on that thing, and you're thinking too much, I guess. You know what I mean? You could just be innocently trying to let me just go to that friend, let me see how this person is. And there's a cool scene there, you have no intentions really, but within going out to the person, things could happen, they could, you know what I mean, feelings could develop. And that's different now, you know what I mean? So
yeah, because I a couple of young people, because I used to be the youth leader in Champion, right? And a couple of young people asked me a question already. How do you approach a girl? You can try coming from how you talk this, I believe her. And I was like, I think to myself, so I say, wow, some people think that, because if you're unsafe, you win, and they're not asking from a place of they don't know how to approach a girl, right? It's not like they don't know how to talk to a girl, right? Because the people who's asking me, it's not that they don't know how to talk to a girl, it's just that they didn't know what was acceptable. You catch where I'm coming from, right? Because for some people, they feel, well, hey, watch me, we're going to talk to somebody, and you're going to talk to them after service, you're going to check with them, and, because there's some people we know, after every service, they used to go and talk to the new girl. After everything, they go and talk to a girl, and we used to be like, oh gosh, boy. You catch where I'm coming from, right? So my point, I think people must, there must be some fine line for people, because, like, be real, right? In your own circles, you'll be talking to more than one young lady, Mark. You were in that same situation, right?
You will then happen. I met a lot of people around. That happened.
But here's the important thing, though. Could anybody come back and say something was indecent in the relationship, or you getting to know them?
Not one person.
And that's the key way, Mark. That's the main thing there, That's the main thing.
Yeah. Because for me personally, fellas, I think if I go with somebody and I don't like the vibes, I might never call them again or never talk to them again on that level. I don't feel like, for me personally, there's just like, I talk about in the beginning stages, right? And I say I go down south and I meet somebody and you go out once. Do you know I might never call the person again if I didn't like I didn't find the things went well?
Right, but what happens if the person calling you now? What you tell them, guys? If the person say what they're interested in calling, what you tell them?
I will get them the cold shoulder. People is normally do that. You just call them and you don't sound interested.
So you wouldn't get my explanation and say, well, Gil, listen, I'm sorry, but this thing working out, and I mean, it's just something better. It wouldn't work out now. It's not working out. You wouldn't say that?
It had nothing to do with working out. All you don't have a deep friendship so far.
It's just I want, you want on one date, like the first date,
Yeah, that's what because that's the conversation we have in here. That you meet somebody and you go out with somebody the first time. Do you know I might never contact you? Because that's why I fed up with that before, right? I never, and both people understand that, but if it is you do call and you try to talk to me, I'll just move a little weird. I'll just be like, yeah. I'll get a short answers, boy, Mark, boy. I'll be talking and say, yeah, man, boy. I'll be like, yeah. Yeah, because you don't want to hurt the person feelings in our body, and you don't want to come and say, Gil, I didn't really like how things went. It's only unless you ask me that bold question.
So you feel something. So you feel by your responses before, right? You know, it's enough feelings by how you get on. Nah. Short answer. You think that's
oh, you catch right? That's two different feelings, boy. If it is, it's where I'm coming from, right? If you know with somebody the first time, right? You can't be so obsessive where it is you get heartbreak and you don't like them, and if that's the case, Breds, something wrong on the other side. You can't be so obsessive.
That's true.
It's for some you can know how you can get hurt though. It's really if it is. I just really find you nice, and I don't find you how you're talking to me and getting on with me, and I don't find you funny, and because you go ask me that question, so what was wrong? And I'll be like, I don't really find you funny, Gilly. It's kind of boring.
That'll make things worse. That'll make you worse.
Yeah, so sometimes I know some people, everybody listening online, anybody ever did that before online? You get somebody the cold shoulder where it is, they call you after a date and thing, or after some time when they went out and you're just like,
I talk about that, I fed up do something before I know anything, but yeah.
You're just like, alright, yeah, cool. Later, we'll pick up. And you just move on like normal. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, go ahead, but anybody else want to add anything? This just been interesting. I know it's have some comments to start already, right? Yeah. Go ahead.
Sonny Tony saying you can have how much friends you want, but there must be one above the rest who you interact with on a higher and deeper level to separate him or her from the rest. And good night, Kieran Anthony say interesting topic. Sonny Tony, again, if you're dating someone and you're still looking at other options, then he or she capture your attention fully. I have Nikki Chapman saying Chris Gil will dig their nose on the first date.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. It all depends on who you go with. But yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Sonny Tony saying, I went on a date and the girl belched out hard and long after the meal like Hulk. I'm seeing Nikita Jones.
My fiance have a problem with that. Me belching loud, but go ahead. Yeah.
Nikita Jones saying focus on one person at a time. Get to know them when they make a decision. If you see a long-term, when they make a decision, if you see a long-term, I guess, relationship or move on, it's a no to weekly dating or speaking to multiple people at once. I think Sonny Tony, you have a few. So you're saying here, you hear that two individuals, not a trailer load. So you date one at a time. I see Naomi Spencer saying, but eventually you will start to like if you are going on more than one date with more than one person. Sonny Tony saying here, the trick is to give the ugliest girl the group their attention in order to attract the sweet one.
He's
But
talking
I'm
about
not
the story when I was giving. No, he talking about the story I was giving with the not so attractive one, and you know that what you talking about. Yeah. But go ahead.
And yeah, like saying our friends who went on dates because they wanted to go to the place or do the activities.
True, that people just do that. They take up. They want to go somewhere. Like you want to go to a concert, and the person paying for you might go. But it's a date to the other person. You can track. They want to get to know you that kind of way. You know, and you know, you all don't understand. Even as believers, right? You might go to a concert. They say jazzy or positive in concert or something, and they want to go, and somebody asks you to go. Like say as a girl, and if it is you go, it's because you wanted to go. You get company. Yeah. And you know, whatever the case may be, I mean, the good thing about us guys that I think we might have company that we may tag along with some people, but there's some people who don't have friends, they don't have that kind of circle where it is they could say, I let all of we go online, but I bring in our guild, let we see what is happening, and all of we could feel out the situation. Not everybody like that. Take a track. Not everybody have a circle where they have a trusted people who could actually feel out well, you know, with the case, and you know. Yeah, some people say a free meal. Some people just do that too. They and I date for a free meal. But go ahead.
I seen Reza Mark saying, upon dating, ideal and values along with deciding before the date if and what you want or it looking for from the date. I have some probably typos there. Decided before by both individuals if it's a thing we're trying. Just friends hanging out, differential first. So I guess you're probably saying both of you are kind of make your intentions clear before you go out any dates, so you won't have any kind of misunderstanding or unrealistic expectations. I think all right. I'm seeing and yeah, let's say people go on dates because they don't want to be home. Sonny Tony saying, you was going to say something?
No. Good.
Sonny Tony saying, we declare we dating. That sounds so strange. That come like asking a woman to go around. Who does that anymore? Can Joseph, hope I didn't say your name wrong. What if Jared evangelizing? So I guess you're talking when he bringing somebody every 3 weeks.
Yeah. That's a common thing people do, like Christians they do when they try to meet a girl to this, go and evangelize to them, you know, the Lord and this and get it, and that's what they're doing, and really and truly,
and it is work sometimes. Yeah,
because really and truly, guys, you know, people, you can't judge people's heart and motives, but sadly, that's really and truly, you know, people don't even be real with their own heart. That's when it is you're talking to somebody, it have a little more intention going on there, you know what I mean? It have a little more. Like, can you catch where I'm coming from? Why is it going out your way to bring this particular person to church? You know, I catch where I'm coming from, right? But sometimes it's have a little more happening there, Barry. But go ahead, Mark.
I see Sonny Tony saying sometimes you ain't even know you catch feelings till you see her interacting with someone else and you're feeling jealous.
I see Risa Mark. You Risa Mark? Well, I mean, she says I probably don't call it a date. You seen that comment?
Yeah. She's saying probably don't call it a date. We're single and hanging out, but in wisdom, go on a group line. However, if there's mutual attraction and you've both prayed about it, then a date can be considered.
Yeah, so I guess, you see, this is the thing, Generally, we use this statement when somebody going out, we say you're going out on a date. And then there's a term called dating. You catch what? Both of them is not the same thing.
It's not the same
both of them is not the same thing.
No, it's not. You're right. You're correct.
Yeah. We just use going out on a date because they don't know it's a man and a woman. That's all they're not going out and there's lime is all they have some kind of interest there. So we use the term. So maybe the term maybe shouldn't be dating. I don't know. But that's what we'll say. That's what he's always say. Going out on a little date, but or some kind of thing like that, right? But you guys, Mark, maybe you want 2 comments again.
Yeah. I see Naomi Spencer saying, if I'm not interested, I just let them know people have feelings. Risa Mark saying, he has the short answers. And I think she's somewhere when you're giving them short responses when you're not interested.
Yeah.
She says she did that.
Yeah, people just do that. If it is you know meet somebody for the first time, if them obsessing that kind of way, I don't know how to help you. But yeah, we have a bigger problem. That actually made me run more. Somebody messaged me and told me that I'm a harsh person, but go ahead.
Somebody tell that guy?
Yeah, they messaged me and said I'm a harsh person.
Wait.
Not a harsh person. They said that's harsh. They say what I said that's harsh.
Not really. No, I was not harsh. I guess it's not really harsh, but it could hurt somebody's feelings. But according to you, how you catch feelings so fast? How you get attached to me so fast? That's kind of scary. So what you're saying to actually makes sense because that's something that I was on one day with you and you so attached to me already. After the attraction kind of business. If it's an attraction business, no. Yes, so yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, you good.
Turner saying, yes, some women like to go on date just to get something. She's not looking for a boyfriend, she just hungry.
True. That's some women just not necessarily food out, but they just go out online. They home bored. They go out online with somebody. We know a lot of Christian young ladies who went online with some people already and they just enjoy the people company. They have no attraction and that kind of thing like that, but they bored home in their house. But go ahead.
I seen Mash Anela Thomas, I'm not sure how to pronounce your first name. She's saying, I got a free meal the other night. I didn't really want to go, but movie and food, night well spent.
Night well spent.
Oh, gosh.
Wait,
all expenses paid, yes?
Yeah.
Depending on what the person is, right, fellas? I'll be like, let's put this a little practical here, right? Depending on what the person is. My fiance, I'm not selling out anything, right? But then I message her and we had, nobody knows how this whole thing start up, right? With me and Nikki, right? But I message her and I tell her I'm interested in doing that kind of way. I call her and say, boom, boom, I laid out certain things, right? But I'll be honest with you, right? If it is somebody I interested in my circle, right? And I find they're talking to this fella, like they went out with somebody and they went out with somebody. And I say, I went out with them first, right? And they went out with somebody else, right? And now they're still pulling smalls and talking to me, right? And they're talking and whatever. Because maybe say they're meeting each other and they're socializing, right? I am honest with you all. I go talk to if I'm interested in the person, right? I wouldn't take that personal because I wouldn't label your character so much, especially because we're in the same circles. So I know it's our point. You catch where I'm coming from, right? Mm-hmm. So I know you're not like that, but I know it's have other people maybe interested in you, right? I would come on directly and say, watch me, I see you with this boy down the road, boy Lyman, the other day. What's this going on there? Yeah, and I will come out directly and I go put something on the table to let you know, well, watch me. I not like that. I not that kind of fella, you know. So it's either we like me try and get it, and I give them almost like an ultimatum right there and then. And depending on how you respond, I good then and then. You know what I mean? I go say, well, play the field. If it is you want to miss up on an opportunity, you go ahead. But I'm not operating. So I'm not gonna be dating you and you are 3 or 4 people you going out. But I wouldn't let that hinder me from talking to the person. You catch what I would just let out there and know. So is the case. And so maybe your wife would never be with you and Chris.
Why? Why?
You say, you know.
Yeah, that's very true. I used to be talking to other young ladies, but my vibes, I was not anything with anybody. I wasn't interested. I would just talk to them and I was just on wildness now. Right. Tell them something or something, and she should see that, and then you should turn her off now.
But the perception, you catch wrong, it's not necessarily the person, but you're seeing the perception and everybody's seeing this person as you're talking, they're friendly with this girl, friend. You know, like I know another brother on the stream here right now. There was a young man, he's a live friendly with a lot of the different girls, and Mark.
Hey.
And you saw questions and things, but now you realize that wasn't the case. You catch where I'm coming from, right? You realize so. It's important you make certain situations known. You come out and you make your intentions known, I think, from in the get-go with some things. So as it is, you could end up feeling cheated on in the long run. And it's not that the person cheats on you, but something can happen and you say the person cheats on you. But you do any other person's eyes. That's not the case. But the other person can be saying, but I have no commitment to you, talk about cheating. But do you know one party could be feeling all kind of committed and all kind of thing, and the other person could be not feeling that way? That's
very, very true. And it's happened before. And it's can lead along our road now, yeah. And I were feelings and that when you heard the start. And the destruction has started in their life because you telling yourself, well, boy, I have something going with this person, and the other person saying, my boy, we have nothing going. Just talking and thing now. We don't have that kind of connection, you think. And that is when things can get sour real quick that way, you know. But that's how life is. And nothing wrong with that, you know, because you're not committed to the person. In other words, if I don't tell you I haven't, listen, in the long run I want to marry you, my intention is to get married to you someday.
Yeah.
Then, you know what I mean? You know, listen, anything is possible.
Yeah, I think it's
possible.
important as believers. You all know your goal. You know, at least believers, we know we want to get married. You don't have to start off so strong as telling me to get married to you. But you could say as a serious fella willing to be committed to you to get to know you for at some point in time, I believe you had to have a conversation. Well, do you know nobody really owe you anything if it is well, they don't have that kind of conversation? Because they don't owe you nothing, you know, brother. They don't owe you nothing if that's all you do. If you even make your intentions out there known, nobody owe you anything. Because somebody else will come in the game and bowl you out.
Yep.
That's life. That is happen and people get married and you move on and Mark.
No, remember any purpose of dating too.
Yeah.
Dating is there's no commitment. Dating is the fact to see if I can live with this person. If it didn't work out, you can move on to the next story. You know what I mean? It might be rough, but that's just how it is. You know? I just how it is.
Yeah. You wanted to say something else, Mark? I see you watching at some of the comments.
Yeah, no, I'll just have a couple more. I see Sonny Tony was saying, not me and church girl, nah. I got some of them as wolfen chic clothing. I see a girl from church spinning on her head in a party, and if she's spinning any faster, she will take off, yes.
But Sonny, you was in the party or something, huh? Oh, you see the girl in the party, Sonny.
Sonny is a sort of
person. I don't want to church man neither, but go ahead.
I saw Cynthia Seeley just saying good night. So good night to you, Cynthia. Thanks for joining us. And that's it really. And good night to Lisa Beckles. I saw she was looking on and commenting from time to time.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But Lovely Rose saying that's why I need both to be clear. So I guess that she was talking about before dating or when you're dating to be clear on your intentions.
But I can't see you being clear on your intentions on our first date. That ain't making sense because the first date is still you ain't know the person yet, or at least you don't know what direction you want to go yet now. So you can't. There's no way you can make your intentions clear on our first date or even our second date, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you gotta give the person time to see and you see the growth, see how they operate, see how they operate with you, how they move with people. A lot of different things that look at. You gotta watch your family. You gotta watch all kind of things. You know what I mean? And it's important. I remember time too, when I say that time, it's really important to watch family, the background, the person that you're interested in. You look at their background, you look at their family, the mother, father, grandparents, whatever the case may be, and that'll give you a good clear indication of what we're going on to now. You know?
Yeah. But generally, Chris, if you reach that far to watch family and thing, you're a little more invested, not so?
Well, yeah. That's all the way down the road, correct, yeah. That's all the way down the road.
Because, and you know, life changed a little bit, right? And I must admit that to myself, right? When I was younger, I know WhatsApp and thing, you're talking whole day on the phone, you can talk to somebody now. In my days, you had a call to somebody and you had to talk to them for a while on the phone. And so outside of a date, it had some kind of communication, I guess, happening. And you can make a decision right there and then if it is you want to go out on the second date or not, you know what I mean? So it's important, I guess, to communicate, guys. You know, at least talk to somebody and let them know your intentions, let them know the situation. Because a lot of people, actually, I realize a lot of Christians, they complain about some things they shouldn't be complaining about. What I mean by that is right? Women, we talk about before, right? If a man has an issue with lust, like let's say you watching porn and all that, why you as a girl you going out with this man to begin with in the first place? It's one thing if you're in a relationship with somebody already, right? And that is the case and all they deal working through whatever, right? But if it's you meet somebody and you see in this man watching woman all how, right? You know, you watching them up and down, thing, and you just observing, Mark. As a believer, anybody who going out there and they're scouting, I would hope they stand up and you observe the person to first begin. You go some in the public setting and you're watching the person, you're watching how they interacting, you're watching, you know, how if they're being kind or what, you know, if there's in a social setting or something, you watch how they interacting or even when it is you approach them, you realize how they're talking to you and you start to make certain decisions, right? Yeah. I remember that is one of the ways my ex-girlfriend before when I was safe and thing. I met her in a store. I went on to interact with her and different things and then I asked her for a number. But based upon our interaction, if it is the interaction was poor or whatever, I would have never asked that girl for she number. But some people, it's almost like they want to go out and I realize when it comes to relationships, people do not guard their heart, boy. They just rush, especially believers. It's like they assume everybody else is a believer or some kind of thing like that. They assume that the person they're interacting with is at the same stage that they even should be in a relationship. Do you know some people, depending on the walk with God, they shouldn't be in a relationship?
At all. Totally agree.
They actually shouldn't be in a relationship with somebody, but you playing fast because you find the girl nice, or you find the boy nice, and you want to go out and date and you realize now your life get messed up. You end up in a situation because the man was a player all along, but you couldn't see that, boy. Do you think there's some signs a woman could see if a man is a player? What do you think, Mark and thing?
Yeah.
In the same circle. Maybe if you meet him for the first time, you might know. But do you think there's some signs a woman could see that if a man a little sweet boy kind of like?
I would say yes, or maybe no, but I was thinking like if somebody you're talking about like a circle within a church?
Yeah, a circle in a community, yeah. Anyway.
Like if he probably did or was in a relationship with a lot of people within the ministry or something, I could see that being a little weird or like a red flag. Like, how come you would have had so many relationships? I think also I know you say dating is normal, but I think if they're dating a lot of people and thing, or they're close with a lot of different women and thing, and like they're real close, I would say that's something you look at as well.
Okay, that's actually a question I want to ask later on in the show, right? We don't have much longer again, right, guys? But maybe we could just go off from there, right? What are your thoughts of that? Maybe your significant other, the person you're with, they may be more closer. They only have maybe more male friends than women friends. Do you think that could be a little issue in your relationship? Asking, because some women just have an issue with that, like the only, and especially as a guy, like I know somebody that is gonna get married, and it looked like their best friend, their best person, had to be of the opposite sex. So if it's a woman, the person had to be a man. That's gonna be the best man or best woman.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a man of honor. Yeah, it's a man of honor. You gonna feel comfortable in a relationship with that?
Or for the man, if it's a best man, it's a best girl.
Yeah, it's a best girl. So they're walking on the aisle and it's a girl. That's really the best person. It's really a woman. What do you think about that?
Mark, you go ahead, man. I go after.
I don't know. That's a little interesting. Some people could deal with it. But I would say that a little it's not normal. It's not normal.
Sure, it's not normal. We had a discussion on something similar to this time on our radio program. A while back, something similar to this. And the thing is, I always say the same thing, right? How you could have, all right. I can't see it being possible if you have a best friend, right? That is of the opposite sex, and that is I think that's, and you're married. I can't see it working. See, it all depends on what you're telling your best friend too. But I guess it depends on the relationship. Your best friend, if you're telling your best friend everything, and you're venting everything on your best friend, and you're talking about your marriage too with your best friend, right? The problems you're having in your marriage and stuff, that's crazy. That can never be right now. That's me. Yeah. I can't see that being right.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying you can have female friends. Of course you can. All right? And you can have very good female friends, close female friends. But when you use the word best friend has a title that goes with it's closeness now. You talk about real closeness, and you're sharing intimate things with our best friend. This is what I consider our best friend. Everybody's version of our best friend is different. Some people find our best friend is okay. A best friend don't mean like telling you personal things. There are some people who have best friends and they don't really tell them anything like that, which is fine, right? But I don't know when I hear best friend.
Is your best friend and you don't share personal things with them?
What I mean is your best friend and there's certain things you may not say what you may not tell them every single thing. You don't have to tell your best friend every single thing. You know what I mean? You don't have to, obviously.
I
Right?
don't
You
have
do
to, but if it's a real good friend, I'll give an example, right? For a man, right? That's for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a man, and let's say you struggle with it, I don't make it fun to anybody, make kind of thing, right? But if it is impotent, that's something personal, you might click a share with a fella. Like you want help, you want like that's almost a believer here. What help? You want something, you want some code, you want something to maybe get help with it, right?
Well, that's something I might want to talk to nobody about.
You might want, but generally you might like say you really want to. If you really have a good friend, you feel weird telling a girl that, boy.
Of
Your
course.
best friend is not female.
Of course, you feel weird telling them that. So that's what I'm saying. It all depends on where telling their best friend. But I find as real that it also disrespectful to your wife. You know, best friend. I mean, I find that disrespectful, and it shows
like
that.
You say, though, like if you're in a relationship and like let's say you see the person friend like an example in Champion. Everybody knows certain people have certain friends, and you know them. That's how it is, and they might they got horrors, but some of them it might work out. I don't know. I really don't know how to explain it.
I understand what you're saying to a point where because what happened, it all depends on if it's accepted by both parties. If it's accepted by your wife, and your wife have a good relationship with your best friend too, or they are very good friends, then I guess
have some kind of boundaries, and
must obviously have boundaries. And you can't go and talk intimate things with your best friend about your wife and your marriage. Either, right? That's crazy.
But I was saying, if it is you personally have a problem as a man, though, and it might be something to deal with yourself. You know what I mean? Most of the time you might share that with maybe your wife, or maybe a real good friend. You know what I mean? A real person you might, if you have a real good friend, you would talk to them about it or something like that. But but anyhow, you want to say, Mark, something?
But like, all right, let me say a man married, right? And he have a wife, but he have a female friend who them just enjoy going and playing air hockey together. And they have a time they just go out and they just play air hockey and enjoy that and Lime and they real laughing and thing but he don't have that talking with the wife now. But he have that with the woman though.
Bring your wife. You can go there. You can play there hockey, Carry your wife with you. All three everybody play hockey. That's
just wondering that. Like when you think about that scenario, if it were to have something with another woman, a part of you, something that you share with somebody, a friend that you enjoy and thing, but you don't necessarily have that with your wife, if that could come across weird.
I think it depends on your wife, how your wife feel about it.
Yeah.
It depends on how your wife feel about it. If your wife don't have a problem with it, and your intentions pure with the other person, and let's go and play a game and there's no scene, I don't see anything wrong with that. If your wife okay with it. If your wife have a problem with it, then you gotta say, well, that making sense. You gotta forfeit that.
Obviously in a marriage, it would have some distance and sometime would happen, right? With each other, especially with now getting married and you had this friend or whatever. And it will have some kind of distance and should happen. It shouldn't be like, all right, on every Wednesday, I'm gonna go out with Sophia and we're gonna play ice hockey.
Exactly.
Come on, man. It must have some kind of separation. If it is really a friend, they would understand the dynamics of things change.
True.
Yeah. That's where I'm coming from, right? They go understand because I'll give you an example, right? Like Mark, let's say me, you, Ava, and Nikki, we go somewhere online, right? Let's say we go Disney World. You and Nikki can go on no ride.
True.
You understand? And me and Ava could go online and we go enjoy, but it don't necessarily mean anything. We cool. You catch where I'm coming from, right? So it has some things you might in a circle at least with all of you as friends and different things that we know we's genuine friends amongst each other, right? And it have nothing like we will call somebody outside so we go online and thing like it really had that kind of vibes, right? But my point is, of course, somebody else you could line with and they have some kind of mutual interest that somebody your spouse not interested in. You catch where I'm coming from, right?
But what if it bothering your spouse?
That's something different. That's what Christian. Yeah, but
I'm not doing nothing wrong, and you're really not doing nothing wrong. But bothering them, but you tell them grow up because I'm not doing anything wrong.
Nah, you see, the thing of that
that's where you're doing wrong.
You say far out is always just humble because you're not married. Just humble and say, all right, you don't want me to do it. I won't do no. But at the same time, you don't want. That doesn't mean your wife had to control your life either, right? Control is another story. I mean, everything I want to do, you have a problem with it? No. But in a case like this, you go down to a female now, boy. And it's something that she's uncomfortable. And they might have an uneasiness about it now. It might be uneasy for them. They just say, you know what, okay, you don't like it, I will sacrifice and not go because my wife not comfortable with it. That's what I would do. That's me.
At the end of the day, boy, as I know a lot of people like to use the control thing, right? Brett, that's the person you're married to us. You catch where I'm coming from, right? You had to give your. I think that's the opposite side. People afraid of when it comes to a commitment in our marriage, that they're afraid they had to give up so much to be with this person. But as the choice you make, you chose to be with this person.
That's why I make the sacrifice.
That's why they make the sacrifice.
You have to make the sacrifice. Correct.
Because in the next 5 years, the person might change, you know. When it is they really say he's a trustworthy person and you really give up everything for me, and that might be the thing that changed him. I don't know, but you can't be in a relationship with somebody and you're not willing to make sacrifices in that kind of way when it comes to those kind of things, like your friend ain't gonna be there when it things happen to you. It's your wife and it is you get bunks on the side of the road. You have to call the first person, you have to call it your spouse, brother. It's not your best friend. It's your spouse that get accountability.
Boy.
So my point is, at some degree, you had to put your wife or your husband, or your spouse, I should say, right? That's your priority. If it is, or you find it toxic, maybe you could go to counseling or maybe a pastor or somebody to have a third opinion, and maybe that's how you could work through the situation, because at the same time, you don't want somebody just destroying all your friends and your whole social life, right?
Yeah,
you know?
that level of control too.
Because
level of control.
Okay, to have some women, that is what they want, you know, fellas and women out there, sorry to say, but that is what some women want. They want you to be home 24/7. And if you go out online, even with fellas, that's our problem. And they feel a certain way and they feel hurt. And at some degree, you might have to make a decision. Chris, swam there, right? You're looking up there, just joking.
Look it up. No, here I look up now. I'll tell you what I look up.
Good.
I seen Cindy in the kitchen dancing. I said, what is this? She do a dance in the kitchen there, guys. I just saying, she do a distract me.
Oh, okay.
I get to not dance. I don't know what was in the dance, but she do a little dance. That's what distract me. She said she hungry, so that's what happened.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know you do dance when you're hungry, but all right.
We're dropping off some crunch and after the service, after here, right?
You say bringing some crunch up here and then after service.
But anyhow, so you all think that it could have, if it is somebody have an issue with that, well, they should talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it should be, I'll be honest, anybody listening, you should be open to your spouse, whatever it is your opinion or whatever the thing is, because do you know sometimes the opposite could happen? You could actually be a good friend with somebody and the other person just they like you, but they just know they can't have you. But they're just waiting, like there's a popular actual person from the real, you know, what's her name, but the kind of Chinese woman.
I know the show,
The Filipino woman. With her husband, best friend was a woman. And immediately when Jenny and the man get divorced, he get the girl and he end up getting pregnant.
You see?
The girl end up getting pregnant.
That's be the problem now, boy. Okay, nobody know what's the best friend motive. What's the ultimate? What's the long game? People is being things for the long haul, you know. They will stay friends close to you for the long haul, years. Until they get opportunity and wow, and that's it, you know. That's what it works sometimes. But now when the opportunity comes, they take it quick.
Because
so,
I think she didn't want to have children or something. So and immediately when they I think that's one of the things eventually destroy their marriage now. Because he still want to have children and whatever the case may be, and eventually, you know, but he was close to this girl, and then you know things work out, and they end up having a child, and that was like a mad scene. Because imagine you, Mark, you're in this relationship and this because she'd accept the girl, she used to talk fun of her before and thing, and she didn't think it was seen. But then after boom, now this whole thing, and it almost like rock she will that she's saying is one thing we get divorced, and you'll go with that girl a couple months after and get you pregnant. There's some people sometimes in the circle or the opposite sex could sometimes see something that you're not seeing and you're not aware of. And sometimes you be a little humble and listen to your spouse's opinion of that. Especially when men sometimes could see when a next man playing the fool or playing the game, and you as a woman, you might be innocent. But as a man, you have to come across and they say so, and sometimes women might take that as being controlling because sometimes they don't have any evidence, fellas. Sometimes they don't really have like an evidence as a feeling, boy. That's how the man.
Yeah, you don't have to have evidence. It's a feeling. You won't pick up that thing. You must pick up. Here, why you don't pick it up? You are a guy too. You was once there now, so you will pick it up. You will know, and you know men thinking. And it's the same thing with women. Women have that same instinct too. They just know when a woman on to you. might be oblivious to it, or you might be pretending. You're pretending you're oblivious to it, right? But there's no one time. There's no one time.
And the reason why it's more happen with men and like men could suspect it because generally most of the time men just do the tracking of women, right? Men most of the time go approach a girl and say this and whatever. So that's why it's more common. But it's true, Chris. A woman could detect in work if a girl moving a little too friendly with you. You know, this
one time.
We should bring you this food and thing, and sometimes it's not the woman insecure. It's just something inside of her.
That's no.
Yeah, because in mutual settings, you already have an established relationship with people. Now, like I say, it's in work. Sometimes, you know, in work, you already so you're not thinking so deep. You just saying the girl cook something nice and show me taste it. And as a man, you dummy now. You saying, yeah, boy. You taste food, boy. You like a dummy saying, yeah, boy. I want to eat that food, boy. And you really lying with the girl and say, tasting good enough. After you go and tell your wife, and something your wife say, why is she doing that? She had nobody else in work who want to taste that food. And you start to get defensive and they say, oh gosh, boy, it's just me and we have our friendship. And you realize how sometimes people could feel like they get in control?
Yeah.
Because you honestly don't feel like anything going on between you and the girl, you know? But now here's your wife or your spouse telling you, nah, boy, I feel that is not the case. That's a hard pill to swallow sometimes if you really have a friend. You could sometimes not know how to handle that situation because here's one person telling you, well, I think I like the person, boy, and then the other person saying, well, so is the case, right? But I've seen some questions online, Mark. You want to read them and we'll look to wrap up. Yeah.
Well, I'll start with Rita Mark. She's saying that's why as Christians, we're not all over the place in regard to dating like headless chickens, but godly principles in relationship building. Hence, pray and watch before even considering a date. Lisa Becker saying many Christians end up in situationships because of a lack of early clarity. I've seen Sonny Tony had a lot of red flags up. Lisa Becker saying even in a church setting, a real player could hide.
Sure, right?
Yeah, a real player, very skillful, very, very skillful.
Lisa Becker saying maybe they don't talk to the bestie about the marriage. I think that's when we were talking about the friendships thing earlier. Sonny Tony saying if the best friend is a girl who you have no intention to be with because you all don't see each other like that, I would tell her that.
Yeah.
As he's saying as well, that so-called best friend only lapping up all your complaints about your partner to know what to do or not to do to fit the criteria you desire.
See Lisa Beckers for a long couple of she ex there.
Lisa Beckers is the person to come on the show tonight, man. But
yeah, man.
Lisa,
where are you, Lisa?
Lisa was the person to come on the show tonight, but I want to be on another show.
Yeah. I think Risa Mark saying no way, Mark, not singly, but as a group, including your wife. Marlon saying that's a mad scene. I think they're commenting on things we were talking about earlier.
That's when that's when we were talking about like a man just like call up your wife on Tuesday and we had to go out and lime. I think that's what they're talking about. They said that we in group some things, you know. I guess, boy, to be honest, boy, some people I look like some people they don't have like friends. I don't know, like, you know. Because that's some things people would do and just go, you know. I mean, I had no problem with, you know, I catch where I'm coming from now, but I guess, you know, you had to know your circle to some degree, boy, because Alberto just call Sydney and say, let me go on beach.
All the time, They will be talking, Alberto and Sydney be talking right through. And, you know what I mean, another person could have a problem with that. Listen, guys, that don't bother me in the least. Because I know Alberto.
You know that was saying, you know your circle now. See,
you know this, yeah. You know?
Some people, that's rare, so, you know, sometimes they really have to cherish your circle, you know, because some people, they really do have that circle. I see in Sonny here, you say, right? Sonny Tony says, my partners will meet my girlfriend in our line, But my friendship has a line. I just be watching them like a hawk, watching her to see if she entertaining so much as a hint of a track on their part. I just want to big up Nikki. I want to big up Cindy. I want to big up Eva. Thank the Lord. That is not something, at least personally, I had to live with. I don't want to think about something. I just think the opposite. I would only think a kind of weird way if it is you see our vibes and you realize the person moving away. In my heart, I'm not thinking she acting like that. You catch where I'm coming from, right? I know how to deal with that on her end. It could be somebody coming wrong somebody, but I know how to feel. I think really people really need to find somebody who really love the Lord. Yes, boy. That you will have less frustrations in life.
Less frustration because that's not how God intended to live now. If you're gonna live like that, every time your wife talking to her, or your girlfriend talking to her fella, you don't know what their intentions or friend.
Sonny same partners.
Wait. And as he partners too, okay. And you getting horrors, you know what I mean? You have to look at your boy, why are you feeling that way now? So the problem might really be internally, you know what I mean? Might be internal.
Yeah, that was so many people choose it too, but Sonny.
That too, yes.
Yeah, you need to find yourself in the Lord and allow the Lord to find a wife for your boy, bro. Allow the Lord to pick a wife or help you in that area. You have less frustration. We have examples here. I'm not married yet, but in my relationship, that's how I feel. I don't feel unsecure in that kind of way. I feel secure to that point, and I think every fella here can testify. And I think most of the fellas, every fella in Champion can maybe say that. I think Marlon, who listen online, he could feel he's secure in Lifa. I don't think that is them kind of issues people let's deal with. Are we not seeing that from our perspective of fools? You know, sometimes people let's have that opinion. Yeah, use a fool. That's why you think so towards the other person. No, we know the person to some degree, and we also have a little trust in the Lord to some degree as well, right? That, you know what I mean? That the Lord leading us and helping us, and you know, and our whole life isn't built on somebody. You catch where I'm coming from, right? Yeah, whole life. If it is if Van Mark break up today, or maybe Cindy and Mark or something happen, the life in come to an end. You catch where I'm coming from,
Cindy and Mark break up? Yeah.
No, Cindy and Chris, I mean, sorry. Your life will come to end. Obviously, you're going to miss each other. But you know, sometimes people, your world shatter. It's important, everybody listening online, that you make your whole life in God, not in a spouse or a person. Because you know, it's important to do that. Because when you do that, is then you can make a step back in your life and realize when you're in a relationship, you can measure things properly. Because if it is when it is you're only seeking to get somebody to fill a void in your life, it's hard to make a decision in a relationship when it comes to things like if a man lost in, and it's hard to see those things outside of the thing. But when it is you're complete in God and you meet somebody, you realize when it is you get to know this somebody is really a blessing you're looking for. You're not looking for this person to fulfill some void in your heart where you feel like and he had this longing, and you catch where I'm coming from, right? It's actually to be a blessing to each other, and it's not this sense of this kind of. It's almost like a covetousness, lostness you have with the person that you had to fill this thing in my life. When if it is you don't do it, my life come to an end. You know, I respect Abraham, man. Abraham loved Sarah to death, boy. When Sarah dead, you know Abraham move on.
Really?
You all know that in the Bible, right? When Sarah dead, not too long after Abraham went and have all kind of churn and thing after that. But if you read the Bible, you would think like Abraham really love Sarah, but in that kind of way, right? But my point is that he had a fulfillment that came from God. He had this sense where, watch me, that, and hence the reason it showed in many times. He went through the opposite before, right? You all remember he went through the opposite of the Hagar, where you realize he messed up and all kind of madness. And so it's important, guys, to really find your fulfillment really in Christ, not from a person. And when you do that, it would help you in the decision makings when it comes to the opposite sex moving forward, because you'll be able to see if somebody moving like a player or somebody moving a certain, you'd be able to tolerate certain things because you know your standard in God. You catch where I'm coming from, right, guys?
Yeah.
Cindy and that cat real distracting. Chris, boy.
Yeah, nah, boy. This time it's the cat. Like he threw wrong something now.
You need to get a leash for that cat, Mark.
You threw wrong something. Check and see you threw wrong lesson. You threw wrong something over there. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you good. You good.
Look, that's thing she's saying exactly. Women have an instinct that can tell when a woman wants our man.
Our man is?
Yeah.
Taking ownership, boy. You're hogging up that.
The Peter Beckles again was saying here, my ex had a number of female friends and I never had a problem with them. Then the first time I laid my eyes on a particular one, I felt one time that she wanted him. I warned him, of course he did not listen.
Well, I guess she didn't see the consequence after, right? But she just said he didn't listen because I don't know if something happened, you know. But anyhow, yeah.
I seen Sonny Tony saying my partners,
you read that. Yeah, I see that. No, I read where I see that, you know. But anyhow, guys, as we close off, I want to encourage everybody to really trust in the Lord. That you know, Lisa said he got her pregnant. Yeah, man.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not the woman, it's the man had the problem there, boy. But anyhow, we want to encourage you guys, right? The Bible tells us clear, right? If a man look at a woman to lust after in his heart, he already committed adultery. I encourage everybody to really deal with the heart issues you're dealing with in your life. The thing, because those things would affect your relationships moving forward in a big way. Because I think by design, fellas and women out there, we all want to be committed. We don't want to be playing the fool out there and just be sleeping around with this one and sleeping around. That have its end. We all would deep down in our heart would really like to find somebody in love and be committed with. That's how God designed us. See, that's actually, you know, but sadly, because of life, we have to make adjustments and we learn different things. So I encourage everybody to really open up your heart in your life and really allow God to work out some things. Because do you know this is the reason sometimes why you might even find somebody, or because do you know right in front of you, there might be an option right in front of you, like Mark and Chris was saying today, right? They clearly say, Mark and Chris clearly say, well, or they could correct me if I'm wrong, right? But if it is a girl lineman with more than one man, they wouldn't be interested. You can track, and so if it is something you need to adjust in your life, it could be something simple like that. Because the man who might be interested in you, that's what you don't want. He find you lineman, and it's important to really allow God to help you in your life, to change certain things in your life, help you along your pathway in life. I'm not saying like friends, right? We were talking more before about dating. If it is a girl, if it is you as a girl going out with 10 fellas in 1 week, or in 1 month, or vice versa, as a guy, you're going out with 10 girls in 1 month. The person who may be really interested in you, who you might looking for, that is not what they're really interested in. At least for me, right, as a believer, I could honestly say, well, I had to consider the girl who I went out with because I was a believer then, right? I was like about first 3 months, right? I only ever went out with 2 girls in my entire life as a believer. My fiance and that girl. I never did that before in my life. Go out on a date and them kind of thing. I never do them kind of, Sorry?
Nah, I didn't know.
I never went out with nobody else, Mark.
Yeah.
You ever hear me tell you I go with somebody? You should know. You would know. You know me. Yeah, to some degree. You would know that. Chris might know from like maybe in long time, but I never went out with nobody on a date and them kind of thing like that. I wanted to find somebody who loved the Lord, you know, and who really, and I could do them things without going on a date. But go ahead.
But I was the first one. I didn't know.
Well, I know you was with nobody for a number of years. For many years, you was by yourself, nobody. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I know that.
No, my point is, you had to set the character that you would like the person who you to meet. You catch where I'm coming from, right? You can expect somebody to just assume you have a certain character or certain values in your life. You are, as yourself, you have to work on things in your own life, and you have to set certain characteristics that you would. Because for me personally, it was very hard for me to like a girl who I find out she kissed 3-4 fellas in the same church, boy. No matter how much, it would be real hard for me to be with somebody like say in Champion, Mark. Like say the person I interested in, and they had like kiss up 3 fellas, and then after we get married, and them same 3 fellas there, that kind of weird, boy.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that for myself, but I didn't want certain things for myself. So it's important. I think it is possible to make a step back and evaluate somebody without even going out with them and going out on a date with them. And I think you can see certain. Obviously, depends on the situation, because if you go out someplace and you bounce up somebody, that ain't going to happen. But you could talk to them a little bit on the phone, and you could ask them certain questions, and you could talk to them to some degree, rather be this kind of committed way. So I encourage everybody to really allow, and I believe Chris and Mark also heard from God. God give them some kind of input in their relationships moving forward. God, the Bible tells us this, right? He's the third string in our relationship. You know, the Bible says that two core full is strong, but a third cannot, it cannot be broken in that kind of way, right? So I encourage everybody to really allow the Holy Spirit to help them in a dating, that you wouldn't be in a place where you're wondering if this person cheating on me and going through, and that is not your life. You could determine today if that is gonna be your future. I think that is, you could determine that if it is you, like how Sonny said that I could tell you from before, you shouldn't be in a relationship like that. Like if it is you feeling that kind of way, like you going out on your partner, is that you get ready your partners or your girl? One of them. You catch where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah.
Is either because you shouldn't be with that girl who you feeling gonna be tracking a certain man. At least that's what at least for me, fellas, will you agree?
Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
You should
Totally,
dump that.
yeah. You should do that.
Vice versa, you can't be at say your brethren and them, you feel them gonna try to go around your girl. You gotta evaluate your partners and them too. And see what me that is, I know some kind of friends I choose in here, but that them trying to make a little pass on my girlfriend when they got a chance. And you're done with them one time, and Mark.
Yeah. I come out of that.
Anyhow, any closing statements before you wrap up here, way?
I just basically want to say, listen, when it comes to choosing a spouse, people, right? You gotta choose wisely. You know, when you're choosing wisely, you're really using it. You're asking the Holy Spirit to help you with that too now, right? Because you can't make a mistake with a spouse is a big deal, right? That's big. You know, it can destroy your whole life. Marrying somebody that God didn't really put aside for you could actually destroy your life bit by bit. Literally eat away at the inside. It can be real bad. You know what I mean? So it's something that you shouldn't rush. I always tell people you gotta take your time with that, right? Talk to the Lord, take your time and look at the attributes of the person before you make a judgment or before you make any kind of decision in your mind. And nothing is wrong with dating, like what we was talking earlier. Okay, nothing is wrong with dating, is fine because that's how you get to meet people, right? So, but don't give out your heart so easily. In other words, don't bear all the burdens out so fast and say, listen, I throw myself at this person. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Just, you know what I mean? If you're interested, you're interested. But always talk to the Lord and say, Lord, what do you think about this relationship, God? You think this is one for me? You think this is of you? Do you want me to be involved in this? And I can actually tell God those things and he will respond to you. You know? You'll feel it in his spirit. You'll actually feel it. You know what I mean? So I really encourage guys to, before you make any decision about relationship or life like that, right, to really, really be in a place with God. And if you have issues with lust and perversion and you can't see a woman and right, your best option right now, you're passing on every woman you see you gotta watch. Your best option is to be by yourself and sort out your life a little bit first. And I'll talk to the Lord and ask the Lord to remove things from your life now. Remove lust and perversion and things. Because what you will do, you'll go in a relationship and destroy the person. And you don't want that. You know what I mean? Because you're thinking it's a selfish thing because you lost just one, but you're actually destroying another human being life now. You know, so it's really important to really, you know, in a case if that's the situation, really seek God's face and say, Lord, you know what? I waited and I cool, you know. I'm not fussing, I'm not thirst, you know. And if you have a longing where you feel like I have to get this woman, right? I must get a woman, I must have a woman. That means you're not ready for a woman. Right? The reality is if your desire and all you thinking about is I must have a girl, I must get married, must have a girl, you have to stay far from that. And really, really talk to the Lord. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And also too, just to add to this in there, Chris, right? When we say not ready for a woman, I mean, understand this, fellas and women. That kind of desperation will determine the type of relationship you're going to have.
Yep.
You understand? It's not like anybody breads up, you know, you come, you meet somebody, you get married. What I'm gonna tell you, you're a big man, you do your own thing, right? You do, but just know this: your quality of life would be different.
Yep.
I want to know something. Do you know the only requirement God have it was given for believers in the Bible to like when it comes to marriage, right? Is to be not unequally yoked. And it's when they're talking about it, talk more like as with an unbeliever. It's say clearly with an unbeliever. Yes. That's the only requirement God have when it comes to me, because it means that can you remember everybody in God's eyes, especially in Jesus, right? Has the potential for better in their life, for change, and also has the ability to be loved by God, because that's where, as a believer, that's where the case. So, the point is this, right? In God's eyes, everybody he wanted, but you had to be willing to go on that journey with them. Some people might have some issues that maybe you can't deal with, but because you're so thirst It don't make them a bad person. Catch where I'm coming from. It don't make them a bad person. No. But you had to know what it is you're willing to deal with. And you had to be willing to say, all right, I'm willing to go on this journey with this person and live with the consequence. You know,
Exactly.
you catch some things have a consequence in life and you have to live in it. And because everything about it, right? I ask any married couple, every married person will tell you, we have problems in some areas. They will tell you that this person might not understand me here. We argue about this. So you can imagine training somebody and make suicide chaos. Who can't control their life and their urges, and can you imagine the kind of madness going to happen in a relationship? Self-control is a real, it's a serious thing. But anything you want to, you can close off the show, Mark, and just say anything you want to share. And I don't know if there's anything you just want to put input in. I see like you get frozen. You're just watching there now,
I just staying still now.
You're doing that real good way.
Yeah, I actually told you freezing.
Yeah.
I just keep myself still sometimes. Sometimes it's good to be still and observe and, really, hear from the Lord in a still place. I just kind of joking, but I think we share a lot of great points tonight. You ought to know yourself. You ought to get to know yourself with God, and God could show you your strengths and your weaknesses. Also, in the area of relationship, know the things that you need. You need certain things in a relationship. A relationship is part of it. When a wife comes in her husband's life as a helper, a woman comes along to help a man, and I believe a man also is a blessing to a woman. And you really don't want to make such a commitment. The Bible says, guard your heart above all else, because that's where the issues of life just come from, right? Your heart. When you get married, you're giving your heart to somebody, you're trusting your heart to somebody, and I would encourage you not to compromise. And the best way to avoid compromises in your life, or the best way to find somebody that will be a blessing, is to do it God's way. God advice and on marriage and relationships is the best you could find. And just look for a man that loves God and about God, that about repenting, somebody that about God leading their life, and you as well. Don't you be Mrs. Right as well. Don't be prideful as well. Don't be not willing to take advice or to change or to adjust. Men, I would say for myself, I'm not perfect, and especially early on in my life, I was not a perfect person. I know that going into a relationship, I would give that person things to deal with, things they would have to persevere and be long suffering and patient with. And so I encourage you to allow God to remove issues from your life. If you listen to God, there are certain things, baggage, certain issues you wouldn't necessarily have to deal with, things you wouldn't have to overcome because you avoid it. So I just want to say, be wise. A wise man sees danger far off and avoid it. If you follow God's way and let the Holy Spirit in you, the Holy Spirit is real. There's many things you could avoid, and there's many things that many blessings you could walk into. So, when it comes to, relationships and everything like that, don't compromise, don't go to the devil or do things the devil way. The devil always comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and thief things and steal things from your life. So, I think we share about even looking at the personal family, seeing the things that generally the family may struggle with or deal with, and just be aware of where you're getting yourself into, and really put God first in what you're doing, and use God's wisdom, and I think that'll give you the best chance at succeeding and in marriage and having Jesus as your foundation. And I want to thank everybody for everything they share. Even Sonny Tony as well. I think he did even ask a question. I think he was asking about talking, if just talking, like texting and stuff. Something along that lines. I think I lost the question. But for everybody watching, I want to say thanks for coming on, and fellowshipping with us is great to talk, and we all getting to hear your opinion, and we learning from each other. We value your input as well in the comments and everything. And I don't know if you want to share anything, Kyle.
I said now my mic was muted. I said now, guys, we finished there. One of you guys have a great night tomorrow. You can tune into our champion service if you want to start 12 o'clock. Next show, it wouldn't be next week, it'll be week after. Next week, actually, we have a Planarima. You can check out the Last Fly page and you can see us. Mark is going to be acting. Chris is going to be acting. Myself, I'm going to be acting. We're going to be in a church. We're evangelizing. In this church, particularly, is outreach for evangelism. You could come and see us if you all want and be entertained. It's one of the best plays you might ever see in your life. Bring somebody. If it is you want, like the Sonny Tony, you could come. Check out the Last Flight on the page. And you could actually see like where it is and stuff is in Arima. And we could meet you, Sonny, if you come up in person, we'll meet you, man. And we encourage you guys to tune in the next show. The next show is gonna be actually about do you need to be in love to get married? Do you always have to be in love ready to get married? Some people, or do you need to marry for love? And I don't know what the exact word is gonna be, but it's gonna be in that kind of space. If it is, you really need to get married in love, because we know some people who get married in a space of time, and I don't know if they would consider themselves in love, but they did do it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. So we're gonna have that show, and it's gonna be an interesting show. Yeah. So you all have a good night. Sonny Tony say, yeah, I'll be there, or some stuff. Hear me out, Sonny, because obviously we don't know what you look like, right? So maybe you gotta hear me out and tell you, hey, this is Sonny boy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, that was fella named Sonny.
Yeah, that was fella named Sonny. Eh?
Yeah, I have one of my mechanics name is Sonny too now. You know, so.
Now you talk about the acting.
Oh
no.
Yeah, that was somebody named Sonny in the play.
Yeah, that was saying.
My mechanic name is Sonny too.
Nice. Yeah. All right, people. Have a blessed night. We out.
Yeah. All right, guys.